We produce the same amount of beef with 30% less cattle now than we did in 1977.
Welcome to America's Breadbasket, where contrary to popular belief, we don't all live on a farm in the middle of the prairie. That's why I'm taking a series of field trips, literally, to meet some women who are a lot like me, except they're farmers. Let's find out what's happening in the heart of our country's ag industry.
I'm Joan Ruskamp from Dodge, Nebraska. I've been a farmer for almost 40 years now. My husband, Steve, and I grow corn, soybeans, and finished cattle on our feedlot. And it's important to me that consumers understand exactly how food is grown and raised from a farmer. Hi ladies, welcome to our farm. Steve and I grow corn and soybeans here, and we have a feedlot where we finish cattle. We're going to take a tour and would love to answer any questions or concerns you have or you've heard brought to you. All right, we're going to start up to the feed mill and see what's going on up there. Where we're standing is what you might call the feedlot pantry. We have ingredients here separated out that will be weighed and measured and put together to formulate a ration. Casserole might be a word that we're more familiar with, but basically you're putting a variety of ingredients to meet the dietary need of that steer and mix it all up and deliver it through the feed truck. And so this is our pantry, or the feed mill.
So essentially all cattle are grass-fed at some time in their life. Ours are grazed on grass from May to October, and then we wean the calves off of them and they come to a place like Joan's feed yard where they can then be either grass-fed or grain-fed.
So why would one elect to choose grass-fed versus grain-fed?
Because if you don't have grain products readily available to you, then you will finish them with grass products.
I'd like to show you where we do our cattle health checks in our barn and discuss questions you might have about how we use antibiotics and hormones. This is where we do our processing, which means we'll give vaccinations, ear tags, parasite removal products when an animal arrives here. When we're going to sell cattle, we go through and make sure no one's had an antibiotic that they need to stay here longer. We don't use them that often that it's something that we got to go through all these cards. And most of the time it's an extra safeguard too, I think, for the consumer, that we all make sure that there's nothing going on. Injection is a word I would say for, say, a vaccination. We inject a vaccination. The added hormone that we use is more of an application in the ear. This is a sample of one type of an added hormone. They're just little pellets. It's kind of like getting your ear pierced in a way, but these slide under the skin of the ear. And what we have found, there are no added hormones in poultry, no added hormones in pork, because there's no benefit. These little guys help that steer use 10 to 15% less feed when he's here. That adds up to billions of water a year and a tremendous amount of land that we're saving by producing the same pounds of beef. And that's the main reason we use it.
And does that then impact my body if I'm buying beef that came from a hormone-treated steer?
The amount of estrogen in an implanted steer versus a non-implanted steer is like a blade of grass in a football field. You can't even hardly find it. But it's an important thing to think about, because people often mistake, well, if that has hormones, if this says no added hormones, that must be full of it.
Right.
It's like sugar-free, then that must have a lot of sugar. And so it's important to understand why we use it, and really that it is safe for people. We're using it because it helps us be better stewards of the land.
Well, what did you ladies think of the tour?
So, is there a reason when I go to the grocery store, if there's two different types of beef and one says grass-fed. Why is that one more expensive? I feel like grass is just kind of right out there. Isn't it free, right? So why would that cost me more?
If it's truly grass-fed beef, it takes longer for them to be ready for the harvest cycle. They do not mature as quickly and become healthy, tasty beef. They take about 24 months, 24 to 30 months, where a grain-fed animal, they can go to harvest as quickly as 14 months of age.
Is there a nutritional difference between the grass-fed and the grain-fed, or is there a reason that you should buy one over the other?
It's personal preference. There's a little bit more of omega fatty acids.
Omega-3s you'll find in grass-fed. But really, if you're looking to increase that in your diet, you're better to utilize fish in the diet, like salmon, tuna, whatever your favorite is, but to complement your diet with some of those sources for those nutrients.
What about the effects of antibiotics that animals are given? Does that affect us when we eat it, or how does that work?
Everyone's concerned about antibiotics, I think, and we're really concerned about resistance. We don't want antibiotics used inappropriately to cause resistance. I think it's important that we're all in on the conversation, whether it's humans, pets, or livestock. We're all using antibiotics for the right reasons, the right amount at the right time, and under the right supervision, whether it's a doctor or a veterinarian, trained folks like ourselves in working with our animals. We want to make sure we have them as a tool that helps us get over a disease or an illness, but not overused in a way that causes resistance between us. And so far, there have been no studies showing resistance to human antibiotics because of use in animals, and I think that's important. I really appreciate you ladies coming today, spending time with Sharon and I, asking your questions, concerns, really to search out the truth behind how antibiotics are used, how we use that at Hormones, how it's beneficial, and yet we are producing this wholesome, nutritious product that we're very proud of.
It's amazing. I mean, I feel like I've learned so much and feel a lot better about the whole process, the antibiotics and the hormones, so it was really helpful for me.